Today's Browns Report is presented to you by the Fetch Rewards app, where you can earn points on any receipt from any store or restaurant and then redeem those points for gift cards. We'll tell you more about them later on in today's mailbag video, because that's what we're doing here on the Browns Report today. I'm listening to the questions you guys asked in a community post I put out earlier this week. So in case you're watching the Browns Report for the first time and you say, hey, how can I get on a future mailbag show? Pretty simple. Subscribe, comment your question when I put it out, usually on like a Wednesday or Thursday, and then we put them on over the weekend. So without further ado, let's get into the first question. I'm excited. NOB Rock asks, okay, I have two questions first. Do you think we should bring in 2 or 3 receivers this offseason? Who would be the best realistic duo/trio we can get? For me, I say we draft 3 wide receivers, Garrett Wilson or Drake London, Christian Watson, Eric, I'm not pronouncing that, I think would all be perfect for us. Well, NOB Rock, appreciate the question. And honestly, I like the train of thought you have. I like the idea of getting 2 wide receivers. I don't know if Jarvis Landry is going to return this upcoming season, but I don't think he is. And I don't know how much I trust DPJ and Anthony Schwartz to be your wide receiver 1 and 2, especially if you don't bring Higgins back. So I don't mind the idea of double dipping in the wide receiver pool, signing a big name and drafting a big name. And so here's a mock wide receiver depth chart that I think would be pretty dope. Imagine if Cleveland, let's just say Mike Williams. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, Michael Gallup. But I think Mike Williams is a good middle name. And then you pair that with the Garrett Wilson pick at the 13th spot or Drake London. You could really insert whatever player you want there. DPJ at wide receiver 3 again, and Anthony Schwartz, who, let's not give up on the guy. He was a 3rd-round pick last year who couldn't really stay healthy in his rookie season, but I mean, neither could Grant Delpit, and now look what he's doing in his year 2. So I like that's a great wide receiver room, if you ask me. The Browns may have their pick of the litter with the wide receiver at number 13. So if that's the case, who would you want Cleveland to draft? Who's like your top guy? Maybe the Jets pick someone before them at 10, but there's a decent chance the Browns at the 13th spot pick the first wide receiver. And if that's the case, they got their, pick of whoever they want, pick of the litter. So let me know what you're thinking down below. Also want to thank you guys for subscribing to the Browns Report. We just crossed 5,000 subscribers, so thank you guys. Thank you to the Dog Pound. I can't do this job without you. Really appreciate everyone that has subscribed, and if you have not subscribed, then just hit that big red button and subscribe. All right, enough of the sappy stuff. Appreciate all of you guys that have subscribed. Let's get into Ethan's question. I saw in the recent video you had Miles Jack as a trade target to help the Browns linebackers core. What if we also drafted someone like Devin Lloyd at 13 to have a 3-headed monster, JOK, Jack, and Lloyd? So yeah, I did some trade targets. You can check that out on the channel. Put it out earlier this week. But the idea of getting JOK, Miles Jack, and Devin Lloyd, that would be nasty. That would be the best linebacker linebacker core in the NFL. But let's explore Devin Lloyd a little bit more. So I think Devin Lloyd, and it's tough to say this, but I think he's bust-proof. The guy is just an unbelievable athlete. He is phenomenal in the pass game. He can get to the quarterback, and he's also the best run tackler in this NFL draft class, I think. So he checks all 3 boxes. And if you had JOK and just Devin Lloyd, just the 2 of them, maybe you even get Miles Jack in a trade, that would be a great 1-2 punch at linebacker. My only issue with that is I don't know how impactful linebackers are in the modern-day NFL. You're seeing teams are passing it so much that you don't need as much help at linebacker to be a great run stopper. You need guys to get after the quarterback, and that's defensive ends because they start that much closer to the line of scrimmage. So I just don't know if the value of getting a linebacker at first overall at the first round is going to impact your wins and losses, and that's ultimately what you're working for. So I think maybe if you were to sign 2 wide receivers in the upcoming free agency period, you could then use that 13th overall pick on a defensive guy like Devin Lloyd, but I'd rather go a 1-2 punch of sign a Mike Williams like we talked about and draft a Garrett Wilson or draft a Drake London, right? I like that idea more, but if the Browns draft Devin Lloyd, they're getting a great player. So let's not overstate that. I think he's going to be a phenomenal player for whatever team he goes to. So if he gets to Cleveland, Cleveland had a good pick. May not be a good pick for what they need and what's going to help them win, but it's a good player. We'll get to the rest of the questions in just a second, but Fetch Rewards is our proud sponsor today. I want to tell you more about them because they are an awesome, easy, free app to use where all you do is just take receipts and turn them into gift cards. What do I mean by that? Scan your receipts, earn points, and then redeem those points for gift cards from your favorite places to shop and dine. You can even hook up your Amazon account and your email to your Fetch Rewards account. So if you do any shopping on Amazon, you don't have to lift a finger. It just gets you the points, and then you take those points and you can redeem them for, guess what? Amazon gift cards. It's an awesome circle of spending. It's great. It's free. So head on over to chatsports.com. Make sure you use the promo code Cleveland to get 3,000 bonus points. I got all that information in the comments and the description of today's video. So check it out, chatsports.com/fetch, promo code Cleveland. Next question from JR Swish. If David Njoku re-signs, what could the contract look like? Great question, JR. So I've talked about this earlier about the idea of where Njoku's going to end up, and I think I have an idea of what a mock contract could look like for David Njoku. I base this a lot off of what Hunter Henry got from the Patriots because I think they're similar levels, just a little bit lesser for Njoku. 3-year deal, 35 total. I'm guessing there's an easy team out after 2 seasons. You don't want to get stuck with like an Austin Hooper bad contract, but guaranteed $20 million. I think that's a pretty decent deal right there for both sides. Maybe Njoku thinks he can fetch more in free agency from a team that's just one piece away and has the extra dollars to spend on it, or really to overspend on it, I think. But I think that looks about right. Maybe I'm way off, maybe not, but I think that's a good ballpark range at least. If you want David Njoku to return to Cleveland, you want the Browns to go out and get his name on paper, spam 85 down in the comments section below. I love doing this because I think we get to see why the Dog Pound is one of the best fan bases in the NFL. I can't honestly guarantee Njoku is going to see this video, but I can almost guarantee that he's got a crew, he's got some buddies and some family that search his name pretty often to see what people are saying about their guy. And they may come across this video. And if they see all the love you guys are showing him, they may just tell him, hey, the Dog Pound wants you back. And he's like, all right, not going. I ain't fucking leaving. All right, next question. Jackson High Street asks, should the Browns get Alan Lazard, which would benefit the Browns' run game? So Alan Lazard absolutely would benefit the Browns' run game, which is something Cleveland does very well. Alan Lazard is a great run-blocking wide receiver. However, I would only do it on a cheap deal for Lazard. I got the stats there. 40 receptions, over 500 yards, and 8 touchdowns. He was working with Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to give Lazard 3 years, $30 million, right? Make him one of the top 10 highest-paid players on this team, top 15, and have we all learn, oh, it was all Rodgers, not so much Lazard. But you're right. He is a good run-blocking wide receiver. In Cleveland, loves to run the football. So it would make sense to get a wide receiver that complements that scheme. I just don't want to pay top dollar for a run-blocking wide receiver. You can find cheaper guys if that's the route you want to go. Next question from, speaking of the Dog Pound, let's go Dog Pound. Why we need to keep Baker? I think you're saying, why do we need to keep Baker Mayfield? This is the million-dollar question. This is honestly the biggest question for Browns fans going into 2022 is the future at the quarterback position. For me, it all boils down to this. Who are you going to get that's better? If you cannot find someone that is an immediate upgrade from Baker Mayfield, I don't know how interested I am in that idea. Now, I think Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson are better than Baker Mayfield. I hope we can all agree on that. I don't think they're very attainable. And so if you can't get someone like that, and then you look at other options, you can't even maybe say get Jimmy Garoppolo or Kirk Cousins or Derek Carr, maybe guys closer to Mayfield's range, and you're left over to the free agency pool like Trubisky or Jameis Winston, or drafting someone who, like, let's say Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis go in the top 10, I'm not interested in Matt Corral at 13 because I don't think he's better than Baker Mayfield. So that's step one. If it's like a flow chart, right? Get a better quarterback. Baker Mayfield. Next guy. Is he better? Yes. Get him. No. Don't get him. I don't think it's that complicated. I just don't see, who you're going to get that's better. And I haven't been able to find an option that I think is realistic and also better. So that's a 2-pronged segment right there. That's the end of my TED Talk. Next question here. Christian Gillespie, I think. Christian asks, what's the news on Baker Mayfield's recovery? Speak of the devil. So the news on Baker Mayfield's recovery, he got that shoulder surgery from a doctor in L.A. with a fancy last name, and got it back in January. Then, if you remember, he posted on Instagram, I'm leaving social media, blah, 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 and has kind of gone 0 dark 30 since then. He did not go to the NBA All-Star game in Cleveland. There was a lot of chatter about why isn't Baker there, right? To face the Browns, the All-Star game, the NBA is all, the eyes of the NBA on Cleveland. He wasn't there. I don't know how much you want to read into that. All right, is that a lot? Is that a big deal? Maybe, maybe not. I don't really care. But that's the latest on Baker. Should be ready to go by training camp. That's kind of your factual response, though. That's at least the goal of this surgery. A couple-month rehab from it. Should be ready to go absolutely by week 1. All right, that's going to do it for us here on the Cleveland Browns Report. Hope you guys have a good weekend, and we will catch you guys later on the Browns Report.